Hello and welcome to Data Science Corner. This is SQL Interview Questions and Answer Series. Today we are going to look into one of the SQL interview question. So the question is, we need to write a SQL query to display the entire employee reporting hierarchy using a recursive CTE and showing each employee's level in the hierarchy. So we have been given an input table. We have ID, name, designation, and manager ID. Now, wherever the manager ID is null, right? So for Alice, CEO manager ID is null. It means that Alice is at the highest level 1 in the organization. In the expected output, we have ID, name, designation, manager ID, and level. As I explained, Alice is at the highest level 1 as she has no manager ID. Then Bob is the CTO with manager ID 1. So manager ID 1 means Alice. So Alice has ID 1. So Bob is at level 2. Then Charlie, CFO, also has manager ID 1. So the ID 1 is Alice. So the level of Charlie is 2. Then we have David, engineering manager, manager ID 2 means Bob is the manager of David. So David is at level 3. In the same way, all the other employees have been defined level based on the manager ID. So let's go to SQL and check how we can do it practically. I've already written the query to create the table, insert the values. So we are creating an employee table, then inserting data into it. Let's check our table, select start from employees. Let's run this. So this is our table, input table. We have ID, name, designation, and manager. As I explained in the presentation, we have Alice, whose ID is 1, doesn't have a manager ID, so it's null. It means that Alice is at level 1. Then Bob, CTO, he has manager ID 1. It means he is at level 2. He is just below level 1. Then Charlie, CFO, also has manager ID 1. It means he is also at level 2. Then David, engineering manager, has manager ID 2, means Bob is the manager, so David is at level 3. Then Eve, finance manager, manager ID 3. So both Bob and Charlie were at level 2, right? So Eve will also be at level 3. Like that, we'll get for Frank, Grace, and Hannah. Now, before we go to look into the solution, let me explain this part to you in creating the table. So we have ID serial primary key. This will generate ID column automatically in the incremental order. That's why while inserting the values right into employees, we didn't mention ID column here because we already created a serial primary key. And this manager ID int references employee ID on delete set null. This is because manager ID refers to the another employee ID and it creates a self-referential relationship in the table. And if a manager is deleted, what this will do is on delete set null, it will set the manager ID to null, meaning the employee now has no manager. That's how it's working. So if you look into here, see, while inserting the values, we didn't mention ID, but we have a serial ID generated. Okay, let's write our solution. To get the solution, what we are going to do is we are going to use a recursive CTE. So hierarchical data, right, such as an employee manager relationship, can be managed using a self-referential table where an employee refers to their manager using parent-child relationship, which we have done in the creating the table, right? Now what we are going to write our recursive CTE solution. So in recursive CTE, what we have is we have two parts actually. One is base case, second one is recursive case. So let's write our base case first. Select, we want ID, then name, then manager ID. Now here we are going to mention one as level from employees table. And then we are going to use a where clause where manager ID is null. Let's run this query. So we are getting Alice manager ID null level as 1. So this is the topmost employee, which is the CEO. So here we have written 1 as level, right? Because our hierarchy is beginning at 1. So we are beginning the organizational hierarchy at level 1. So whoever doesn't have a manager ID. So this where clause, what it does is, whoever it is who doesn't have a manager ID will be positioned at level 1. So the highest hierarchy. Now let's put all of this under a recursive situation. So with recursive, now let's name this recursive as employee underscore hierarchy. As let's put a bracket. Now all of this we are going to put inside a bracket. Now inside the bracket, what we are going to do is we are going to use union all. So union all, this is going to combine this part of the query, the base part of the query, with the recursive part of the query. So this is the, let me write it here, base case, and it starts from the top level manager, which is the CEO. Now we are going to write the recursive case. So here we are going to find all the employees reporting to the previous level. Okay. And here we need to write select. Let's put it down. Select. Now, before we write anything, let me write from as well. So from employees table, and we are going to give it as a alias as E. So here we are going to write E.id. We want ID from the employees table. Then E.name. Then we want the designation as well. So E.designation. Then we want the manager ID as well. E.manager underscore ID. Okay, comma. Now from this recursive CTE, right? What we want is the level, right? Here we have mentioned the level. So we want the level as well. So what we are going to do is we are going to write it as EH dot level plus 1. Now this plus is because each new employee that we are going to find is one level deeper. That is 1 plus 1, 2. So first one is level 1 is CEO. So we are going to find out the level 2. Then once level 2 is found, we are going to find the level 3. That's why every time it will get plus 1. Okay. Now from employees E, we are going to inner join the employee hierarchy table. So inner join employee hierarchy. And we are going to join on E.id equal to, so this employee hierarchy, this table we are going to give it as an alias as EH. So this EH we used here as well, right? EH dot level. So EH dot ID. Okay, sorry, here E dot we want manager ID. So on E dot manager ID equal to EH dot ID. Okay, this is the recursive case part done. So what we have done is we have written the base case. Then we have written the recursive case. Now let's write the query to get the items from this recursive CTE. So select start from employee hierarchy CTE. So employee hierarchy, and we want it to be ordered by level, and also we want it to be ordered by manager underscore ID. Okay, now let's run this query. Okay, we got an error. Each union query must have the same number of columns. So we have, okay, in recursive, we have ID, name, designation, manager ID, and level. However, in the best case, we have ID, name, manager ID, and level only. We don't have designation here. So we want designation here as well. Designation, comma. Now let's run this query. It should work. Okay, it's working. We got the output. So we got ID, name, designation, manager ID, then level. And if you look into this, Alice, she is the CEO, manager ID is null, so her level is 1. Then Bob, CTO, manager ID 1, her level is 2. Because Bob's manager is Alice, who is at level 1. Then Charlie, CFO, manager ID is null, then level is 2. Because above Charlie is only Alice, who is the CEO. Then we have David, engineering manager, manager ID 2, level is 3. Because above David, we have Bob, who is at level 2. Then if finance manager, manager ID 3, that is Charlie, and her level is also level 3 because Charlie's level is 2. Then we have Frank, software engineer, manager ID is 4, his level is also 4 because Frank's manager is David, who is at level 3. Then Grace, software engineer, manager ID 4, level 4, because David is the manager, who is at level 3. Then Hannah, accountant, manager ID 5. So 5 is Eve is at level 3. So accountant is at level 4. So this is how we are getting the output. Let me explain the query, the overall query once again, so that it will be better understandable. First, what we are doing is we are using with recursive employee hierarchy as, so this defines a recursive CTE. CTE means common table expression, recursive common table expression. And this CTE allows us to traverse hierarchical relationship. Okay. After that, we have the base case for the top level employee. So here we are using select ID, name, designation, manager ID, one as level from employees where manager ID is null. One as level is because this finds the topmost employee. The level is equal to 1 because it is the highest in the hierarchy. Then we have recursive case where we find all the employees reporting to the previous level. So first we are going to find the employees who are at level 2 and is reporting to level 1. Then we are going to find the employees who is at level 3 and reporting to level 2, like that. This step, what it does is it joins employees with their managers. Each new employee found is one level deeper, that is level plus 1. And it continues until no more subordinates are found. And this union all is because we are combining the values which we are getting at level 1. So this base case and this recursive case, whatever values we are getting, we are combining both the tables. That's why we are using union all. And in some cases, there might be duplicate values we will be getting. That's why we are using union all, so that we get the duplicate values as it is as well. And if we use union, so the duplicate values are removed. That's why we are using union all here. Now then after that, we are getting the values. Select star from employee hierarchy, the city. Then we are ordering it by label and manager ID to ensure that the hierarchy is displayed correctly and employees appear in the order of their level in the company. This is how this whole query is working. I hope you got the idea how we can solve the hierarchy, employee hierarchy, or any kind of organizational hierarchy question using recursive CTE in SQL. If you have any questions regarding this or any other SQL question which you want to solve us, you can put it in the comment section. We'll look into it and answer it accordingly. Thank you for watching. We'll see you in the next video.